Hi, this is Tanya, the Lady Strange, and welcome, and Ave and hail. If you're watching this, thank you, and thanks for stopping by. So, this is the weekly collective reading message in the energies. Now, this may be divinatory, but my readings come across much more as an energetic guidance, things to be mindful and aware of in our day to day human life experience, but our soul's experience, our magical spiritual paths, whatever those may look like, whether we're a man or woman, and no matter what our lives may are or present themselves, or how the outside world and inner world intermingle, and how we intermingle with each other. So this is just that type of message. So if this resonates with you, which I hope, this will reach whom I know is this meant to, as I'm part of the collective too. But again, take what resonates. So with that being said, this week's opening crystal, look at this beautiful flash. Now originally I was going to go with chalcopyrite, which is peacock ore. I can't find mine in my sensitive collection. It's around in there. It's just deciding to hide. However, I went with another likely energy and companion, and this is what showed up for me, labradorite. One of my top favorite crystals. That's in my top 10 for certainty. I have many different ones, which I have in my collection, and I'm blessed to have that I've acquired over the years. So this is the one I pulled. This one I have actually blessed a few years ago with the black moon, which occurs every 33 months, I believe, give or take. So black moons are very powerful energy, at least for me, eclipsal energy is, or the more rarities that they hold. I'm one of those strange, just like I'm the Lady Strange, which is that works with eclipsal and dark moon energy. A lot of people find that is a thing to step back and reflect. Well, I do both, but the liminal is so much powerful, and the in between, and what can be harnessed of what has happened or is drifting away and what becomes. So that's part of the message of the Labradorite. Is and with the cards that I've already pulled, in the sake of time, energy, and not to get too rambly, of course. So the message for this with the Labradorite is a beautiful stone, as you can see, with a flash of energy. Don't know you can catch from my light, but a beautiful crystal that's very enlightening. She is very multi-purpose to connect with. Now, if you don't have this, you can still resonate with the energies and allow it to guide you, or you can find something that maybe resonates, or you can embody your program with this energy. Magic is that way, and incorporate in your everyday life experience as a human, but as using as everyday sorcery. In the magic and the mundane, as they're one and the same, at least for myself. So, with that being said, this is saying spiritual connection. This is saying to open your third eye, to actually perceive and observe in perceptions, much like the high priestess. The card of the week is not the high priestess, but it is saying to tap into that wisdom, that stillness, that calmness, to stand in your power, but being still and calm and reflective, but the sense of knowing and maybe not knowing what others may not know. And it's also saying as to see and speak with clarity, your voice, using your throat chakra to come across to others and yourself and conveying your message. It's also about higher learning. It's about higher discernment and embodying your spiritual truth and path and following your North Star and your inner flash of inspiration, whether it's with your mind, what you create as art, your voice, your hard work and effort, your relationships and love. So, but it's also about, besides embodying your power, your magic, and spirituality, and being open to the realm of that and the other realms that direct us and the other energies that do, it's also about being able to ground and protect your aura. So that's your energy, but your auric field. So you can stay very connected with more beyond yourself and more than the everyday reality. Um, you can actually be connected to the other world, other realms, deities, experiences, or use your intuition, your gut feelings, um, seeing beyond the visible, seeing the invisible, but knowing. And if you are an occultist or a magician like myself, like a witch, or do self work and path working, this is a great guide to help you follow your North Star, using your energy and your flash, but keeping yourself also grounded in reality and protecting your auric field from others that might be trying to drain you, how life tries to drain you, the experience of the world. It's also about self protection and keeping yourself not open too much, but being open and receptive to have an effective, empowered week. That's this week. So, a highly spiritual week. So, no matter whether you are an atheist, whether you are a practitioner like myself and connect, whether you are of the Abrahamic religions, or whatever that may seem like or look like for you, what you consider maybe spiritualism, or being connected, this is great for you to be able to be receptive and open this week and find more magic in the mundane in your day to day experience. But while doing so, and not being too open to others while doing so, or becoming a victim or acting like one. So that's what Labradorite has for the energetic message this week. So the card that came centrally, just one from the tarot this week, is from Tarot Volatile, one of my favorite beautiful decks. I forget the name. I'm kind of in channel mode, as I like to call it, in connection mode. So yes, a bit there, a bit there. But either way, you can look it up. It's a beautiful deck and one of my favorites, and very alchemical, very occult, very esoteric, very higher wisdom, much like that Labradorite. That's why I was conjunctively guided to pull from it. So this is one of the alternates, I believe, from it, as she has alternates. Um, I have not ordered the new expansion pack to this, but I have originally did when I ordered this a couple years ago. Is I do have a big chunky monkey deck because I kept most of them in there. That's how I roll because they resonate for me and give me different intuitive messages, hits, and the artistic value of this deck is amazing. And she connects so beyond the everyday, but does affect the everyday. So that's what alchemy does and personal alchemy does. That's what it is. Evolution of self and experiences and humanity. Not losing your humanity. And that's part of the message too. Not losing your humanity, like many people and many things in governments in this world, and what continues to happen and will be part of the perpetual cycle that always happens throughout time and existence. It's not. It's hard to live. Let's put it this way: it's hard to live in this life if you, especially if you're observing and you actually realize what's really happening and what's happening between the lines and reading behind them, and maybe how the world treats you and how you see others are treated. But this is saying here, this Knight of Swords is saying, move swiftly, but not recklessly to ascend. You see that it's on like a winged Pegasus. So it's saying, this one is saying to traditionally ascend up to what your higher calling is, what you feel compelled to do, and what you feel is right for yourself, your relationships, and what you're putting forth, and what you have in every step of your life. It's saying to find ascendance through discernment and good thoughts, not like bypassing thoughts, but using what resources you have and the logic to realign and not self-defeating thoughts or things that take away from your focus or energies. Continue to move forward and ahead. This collective is very, very spiritual. and very connected and very interconnected and very has a great clear perception and perspective, and it's continued to grow and evolve. So you're going to just don't move too fast, be mindful of that and recklessness, and you will move forward. You've already been making continuous healing and progress. We have in this collective, as I'm part of it too, and it will only get more, and this week will be more effective in that. And as long as you recognize this is from the Earth and Bone Oracle by Syrian Shadows. Some of my cards are jumping around to the side there. So yeah, this is Shadows. So this goes with wholeness, integration, and repressed emotions. So this is saying, and this goes with the other card that came out, and this is by These Blue Bones by Rose Bay. I affectionately call this deck my Moody Blues. If you are familiar with this deck or seen it at all or own it, you'll know why I call it that. But it is, look at that, how that I couldn't have planned that much better. Wholly at peace. And that's the moon, because there is a full moon this week, so that, but being restful with self. So that is, yes, we all have a shadow. If you are into psychology, or magic, or all of that stuff like the alchemy, the shadow, or just shadows themselves, how the sun and the moon reflect those. The shadow itself, or the shadow of humanity and existence. But yes, how can we make ourselves whole this week? How can we bring ourselves into wholeness? How we feel fulfilled, how we can feel effectively empowered, and how we can continue to evolve and actually be creator and creatress, I can't talk, of our life and our experience this week. How can we be wholly at peace with our situation and what we do have and what we created and what we continue to do? How can we rest more easier knowing that we actually are following our true path, our true will, and whom we are as people with integrity? And it's also saying repressed emotions. So to stay at peace, you do have to recognize that there always will be repressed emotions. But they can be overwhelming. They can be very distractive. They can hold you back. They can cause severe anxiety. However, your shadow is not something to be feared. Those qualities are not meant to be feared, those different emotions and aspects of it. It's best to acknowledge them, to give them space and feel them, and then move through them or let them go. The shadow is actually a part of yourself, a part of things that you may have not been able to face, or trauma that you have had, or what the world has conditioned you as and continues to do so. However, you can be whole. The world may not be that chaos around you, but you can find your center. You can find fulfillment in what you have and what you continue to create, and being the type of person that you have, and having integrity and strength and courage. So this week, find your wholeness, find what lights you up, find where your center and what brings you to peace. Use your enlightenment. Follow your North Star, your inner flash of creativity, learning what you're guided towards and embodying that, but also staying grounded in that, but being connected and interconnected. So this is going to be a very empowering week of forward movement, as hopefully we start approaching the spring here, at least in the Northeast. Even though there's going to be more snow and storms, more than likely, and not less than likely. But yeah, so whatever part of the world you are, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you watching. If this resonates with you, please like, comment, subscribe, as it helps my channel grow, and know that my content's reading whom's meant to. And of course, stay strange.